Hey there, welcome to the channel. My name's Greg. I was hoping to get this out before Memorial Day. Didn't happen, but people will be grilling up a lot of burgers and dogs this weekend, at least in the United States. I'm going to show you how I made some hot dogs. Dogs I'm making today, they're going to be all beef, no lips, no snouts, no buttholes, no feet, no pink slime. Let's get started. I'm making an all beef hot dog today, but you certainly could make it with the combination of pork and beef. You could make it all beef, all pork. You could even make hot dogs out of poultry if you wanted to. I'm going for about 25 to 30% fat. What I have here is trim. This is stuff that would have been turned into ground beef. I get a side of beef every year. Rather than getting my trim ground up, I just have them give it to me as trim so I can make sausages and whatnot myself. And I ran a little, I thought this was a little lean because like I said, I want 25 to 30% fat. So I've got a little extra fat here from a brisket that I cooked not too long ago. Just a little extra to make sure I'm up there in the 25 to 30%. I don't really want to be more than that. I'm afraid that might make my emulsion break. I don't know. I haven't made a whole ton of emulsified sausages, so we'll see how this goes. But I'm just cutting it into pieces that fit in my grinder. I'm just going to chill this in my freezer until it firms up a bit. Meanwhile, I'll get my spices together. For my hot dog seasoning, I'm going to start with some salt. I'm also going to use some cure number 1 because I'll be smoking my dogs, so they'll be at a low temperature for an extended period of time. But if you want to poach your dogs, just add more salt and leave the cure out if you want. That said, it won't lock in the nice pink color like this will. Your dogs might turn out a little more gray. It doesn't really take very much at all. Little goes a long way. That's why it's important to have an accurate scale when using curing salts. I'm also going to add some mustard, some paprika, some granulated garlic. You could use garlic powder if you don't have granulated garlic. I'm going to add some white pepper. Going to add some coriander. Going to add some marjoram leaves. Going to add some celery seed. And finally, just a little bit of mace. I am going to use a binder, and I'll be using Nonfat dry milk powder. Could use potato starch, rice flour, cornstarch. There's a lot of binders out there. This is just going to help ensure a juicy hot dog. It's going to help with the emulsification. Going to give the water and the fat somewhere to bind to. Okay, here's my spice. My spice is in my binder. Not sure if that meat's frozen yet. I do want it to be partially frozen when I grind it. Go put my spices away and I'll check on that meat. Well, my meat, it's partially frozen now. It's not frozen solid, but it's definitely very firm. So I'm going to be starting with my 7mm die. Now you'll notice I'm not using my plunger, just feeding the meat at a rate that the grinder will take it. Okay, this is my 4.5mm die. If you had a 3mm die, that would be good to use also. Want to make sure it's still really cold. 30, 31 degrees. That's plenty cold. Run it back through. Check my temperature again. All right, I'm still cold, still around 31 degrees, 30 even. So yeah, if it's warmed up at all for you, you're gonna wanna chill it again. Make sure it's close to freezing. I like mine to be just below freezing. Now I'm gonna run it through one more time. You can still see the fat pretty well defined. I do want that to become more homogeneous. This is my last grind. I'm going to take a small bit, run it back through. That'll get anything off the agar that's stuck on the agar. See, it has warmed up a little. It's 34, 35 even. So I want this to be really cold. So what I'm going to do is stick it back in my freezer, let it get just a little colder while I wash off my grinder parts. You can see that Still not 100% homogeneous. It's a lot more homogeneous. Fat is a lot less defined, but there's one more step that's going to bring it all together. So when it's done, hopefully we won't see any bits of fat. It's just all going to be one. Okay, I've cleaned up my grinder. Had this in the freezer. It's 32 degrees, 31. That's 31, 32. That's perfect. All sausages need to be really cold when mixing, but with the emulsified sausages, it's super important that it stays very cold. I'm going to add my salt, spices. I'm just going to give it a super quick mix here. I just want to get that incorporated a little bit. I'm not going to be mixing this one by hand like you usually see me do, but I want to make sure that in case I can't fit this all in my food processor at once, I want to make sure my spices and salts are evenly distributed. I think it's pretty good. Let's see if this will fit all in one. Might be too much. I think my food processor is close to death. That might be too much. I'm gonna find out. I know this thing is getting very tired. The last few things I did in here, it started to be pretty tired. She's on her way out. Let's get it started. All right, we're already up to 37, from 32 to 37, that fast. This needs to stay below 50 degrees or the emulsion will break. So, got some ice here. Put it in the blender to make it nice and kind of like shaved ice here instead of having whole chunks. It's going to do two things. It's going to keep it cold and it's going to loosen up the batter. Just like with any sausage, when you add water, loosens up the batter. All right, that helped cool it down. Let's keep going. Oh yeah. You can see that's starting to loosen it up quite a bit. I'm gonna add a little more ice. Make sure it stays cold. Keep loosening this batter. It's turning into kind of a meat mousse here, which is kind of what we're going for. All right, 37 degrees, we're still nice and cold. Gonna add my final bit of ice here. No, I think I'm gonna add just a little more water. Yeah, that really warms stuff up. You know, we're at 48 degrees, 47. So we're still below 50. All right, we got our meat. We got our meat mousse. The farce is looking very homogeneous to me. I'm gonna get the stuffer ready, start stuffing. And that's one sticky batter. That's like it's like a thick paste. Holy crap, that's sticky. All right, I'm just gonna try to get as much air out as I can while I stuff this. So I did a really small batch just because I knew my processor would only handle so much at a time. Just gonna quickly lube up the piston, top of the piston here. I'm gonna be using these 25 millimeter cellulose casings today. Really only need about 20% of this. All right, let's see, maybe give ourselves a little extra. Oh, squeeze that out to the end. I'm gonna tie a little knot on the end, just like I would with any casing. Just put a hole on the end in case there's some air in there. I think that should be about it. Let's see what these are all about. Now, it's pretty important to get stuffing soon after you mix this because it does have a binder in there. And that binder can make it a little tricky. It can make your batter really tighten up pretty quick. Uh-oh, that's gonna be too full. Uh-oh, I did it, damn it. Can I put some of that meat down at the end where it might have more room? You know, every kind of casing's a little different, and they all take a little bit of practice. These don't coil up the way a natural casing does, I'll tell you that. They just kind of crease. Yeah, that's a big fat spot. I'm not feeling very good about that. Got a balloon here. I filled up with some water. Let's get in the last little bit out of my this part of the stuffer, because this part there's always a bit left. It's not too hard to stuff it in when you have a bigger horn, but with this small horn, it's kind of a pain in the ass. All right, here we are. It helps to relieve the pressure. It's going to make this come off a little easier. Yep, it got most of it out. Back of a spoon can work pretty well for this too. And just try to clean out my horn as much as I can. Don't let anything go to waste. And I'll probably make a patty tomorrow out of that, because this one does have cure. If you didn't use cure, you could cook it up right now. If you did use cure, you want to leave it. You want to give it at least 12 to 24 hours before eating it. Let's see how these here cellulose casings link up. Did fill them a little tight, it looks like. Oh, I'm just going to twist one way, twist the next the other way. I think that's going to be the best way for me to do these ones. Go on, dog. Not for you. This is the one I'm afraid it's going to burst, because, yeah, there's no squeeze at all. See if I can move some of that meat down to where there's room. Okay, yeah, see, that one already came undone. Just alternating each one the other direction. It's not my usual technique, but I think it's going to be the best option for these. Definitely went a little tight here. Got one burst already, but hopefully that'll be the only burst. Yep, okay. That one burst. So I'm going to put these in my refrigerator overnight, because like I said, these ones do have cure, and even without cure, it just lets the flavors hydrate, and the salt lets the salt work on the meat too, even without the cure. With cure, you really want to give it 12 to 24 hours just to keep it safe. So into the fridge, cook these off tomorrow. All right, got my temperature probe, because my thermometer is wildly inaccurate on this. And got my hot dog probe. You can see actually, this thermometer's broken. When the bear knocked this thing over. Speaking of bear, I'm gonna have some bear summer sausage coming up pretty soon. If you want to see that, make sure to subscribe. All right, these have reached 150 degrees. Looking too shabby. All right, fresh off the smoker, straight into the ice bath. Yeah, it'll stop any carryover cooking, and it should shrink the casings up and help them come off nice and easy. So we'll give these about 10 minutes in here, and then we'll cook one up, see what it looks like inside. Right, these have been in here 10 minutes. Let's take them out and see what they look like. Well, I knew this sad one would be not too pretty. That's the one that broke. That's the one that almost burst. That's a big daddy. I think anybody'd be happy to have a dog like that. All right, let's see. These should peel off. Oh, yeah. Smells like a hot dog. Looks like a hot dog. The end's got that look like the butthole, the wrinkles around it. That's a hot dog. Yeah, you can see the fat kind of leached out of that one. I gotta say, this one, it looks kind of particularly phallic. That's a dog anyone be proud of. That's one you don't really want to show your friends. All right, let's cook one of these up. Give it a taste. Well, let's take a look at the inside of this dog. All right. It's holding water. Not really seeing too much fat. It's looking pretty homogeneous. It's like the emulsification held. And it's funny, it looks like there's a skin because of recooking, but there's no skin. Tastes like a hot dog. This tastes more like a hot dog than an actual hot dog, if that makes sense. I'm not going to put it on a bun because I am going to a picnic. I do want to be able to eat some of the good food that's going to be there. But I'm going to put a little mustard on the next bite. Hot dogs really are so much better with mustard. I'm not going to lie. Hot dogs aren't my favorite sausage in the world. Was it worth all the extra work? If you really want hot dogs, yeah, it was worth the work. Are there a lot of other sausages I would rather eat? Yeah, but I'm pretty happy how it came out. The emulsion held. It didn't leach out fat during the cook. It tastes and has the texture of a hot dog. It's no lips and snouts, assholes and feet, or pink slime or any of that. So if you like hot dogs and you want to go for it, I would say it's nice to know what's in your food. Is it a better hot dog than ones you can buy at the store? Without a doubt. It tastes more like a hot dog than those hot dogs. Would I make this again? Well, I'm going to make something similar. I've got a pretty special hot dog idea coming up for the July 4th time period. It's going to be kind of like this, but modified, and it's going to actually be a corn dog. So that's going to be a fun video to make. Has this converted me into a fan of hot dogs? Not really. You know, when I go to a picnic where the grill's running, where there's burgers and dogs, I'd pick a burger every day over a dog. That's just me. If you're someone that really likes hot dogs, this is definitely worth doing. Came out great. I'm glad I tried it. But will I be doing it again? Only for the corn dog. So with that said, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up on it. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you're still watching, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. And you know, whatever you do, even if you're just making hot dogs, hell, even if you're just grilling up store-bought hot dogs with the lips and snouts and buttholes and feet and stuff, still, put some love into the food you're making. Peace.